What's going on, everybody? This is Culture 316, where we push the culture and conversations of professional wrestling forward in 2019 or for the 21st century. I'm one of your hosts, Jay the Creative.
I've decided to be Captain America today. I am Steve Rogers.
And welcome to episode 116 of this. So for starters, because NXT TakeOver is tonight, Saturday, we are not able to give predictions.
Like a prediction show.
Do a prediction show or even a results show.
Yeah, but our predictions are...
I'll be on the Instagram story.
Yeah.
And they're going to be in our highlights. So be sure to go to Culture316 on our Instagram and check out our story to see who predicted who and who won and who didn't and whatever.
I'll be having quite the night tonight.
Yeah, he already has his Johnny Champion shirt on. I may just order one.
Oh, yeah, because you're seeing this, Johnny already won.
Yeah.
Johnny
also, hold on. Keep going.
Yeah, Johnny already won. Yeah, Johnny already won.
I find that shirt is actually really clever because those are Undisputed's colors, and he was facing Adam Cole for the title.
Yeah, but this is
it's a brighter yellow. Yeah, very true. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. So first things first. I didn't want to really start with this because I don't want to make him relevant, but a legendary wrestling promoter, booker, and now podcast host, as well as an announcer, Jim Cornette, sounded off on his podcast, The Jim Cornette Experience, and on Twitter about All Elite Wrestling's talent. Names include Joey Ryan and Sonny Kiss. He kind of voiced his frustrations about them not explaining talent like Sonny Kiss, and there is a wrestler in AEW who does not have legs, unfortunately, but his disability is his superpower, and he's been able to kind of kill it. I forgot his name at the moment. It's going to come back to me. But he kind of made some really insensitive remarks about Sonny Kiss and Joey Ryan, and even retweeted fake tweets, because, God, this is why we don't give old people the internet. But I kind of wanted to know, we're not going to spend too much time on this because I don't want to give dead people life. So
I'm going to sleep.
So I just wanted to know your remarks on this.
I don't even know what to say. Like, honestly, Jim Cornette, I mean, you are he's a staple in the wrestling business.
Absolutely.
You know, if you want to be in the business, you need to know all the things that Jim Cornette has done. He's done great things for the wrestling business. But it is 2019. I'm sorry, Jim. You're canceled.
Yeah, I just... there's a couple of things that kind of bothered me about this whole situation. Number one, if you wanted an explanation about the characters, there's this beautiful platform
called Google,
called YouTube, actually, where Being the Elite, Google owns YouTube, and they have this series on there called Being the Elite. They also have another series called The Road to Double or Nothing, where they have been building up these characters that you're seeing on television.
Or the platform that you use to run your mouth, Twitter. Oh my gosh!
Who would have thought the internet could have knowledge, right?
My gosh.
Could have information.
But instead of typing, you decided to run your mouth.
Listen, I'm just tired of these bitter fingers turning Twitter fingers. Like, it's 2019. And before you should say anything, you should inform yourself. And so, but in addition to all these platforms that are providing the content to inform your conscience about these characters, how about nobody owes you an explanation? How about All Elite Wrestling is going to have a show in June, a show in July, a show in August, and they're going to be on TV in the fall, and those are all platforms in which you can use to be a storytelling platform. So in addition to the information that you didn't look up and research, there's also information to come in the future where you can just kind of watch the story unfold.
No, you decided to open it.
But nah, because yeah. But one of the things that I do notice is that it is the talk of the internet, or somewhat the talk of the internet.
Well,
but for right now, it is the talk of the internet as far as the wrestling community. But I don't believe in running my mouth on Twitter when I see somebody in a place of power that is doing something insensitive and that is offensive to a certain group of people. So what I would recommend our audience and audiences around the wrestling community to do, Jim Cornette is currently employed by Major League Wrestling. They are on a TV station called, I think it's BN. I think it's spelled BIEN TV. He is an announcer there. I believe he also holds another position there. So if you're retired or do not want to hear his remarks or give him a platform, I highly recommend that you contact that TV station and tell them your frustrations because it's 2019 and instead of telling social media how people are trash, we're just going to tell their employers that they won't have a job. That's just it.
Period.
So now on to new and exciting things.
So Thursday, was it Thursday?
Thursday.
Was it Thursday?
What?
No, it wasn't Thursday. It was Wednesday. Or one of these days, this week, the internet blew up because Jon Moxley did an interview with Chris Jericho.
Absolutely. Well, I want to set the stage first with Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So going from that. So All Elite Wrestling presented its inaugural pay-per-view, Double or Nothing. It was live from the MGM Grand Arena in Las Vegas on May 25th. They sold out the arena with 12,000 seats. They put on a weekend-long convention called StarCast 2, which did fairly well. And they were able to showcase a lot of their new talent, their newest talent that's mostly from the indies, and even some former WWE talent. That included Shawn Spears. That included a shocking return of Awesome Kong. And
Well, she spent like 6 months in WWE.
Yeah, no, she had a couple stints in WWE as Karma. One is Awesome Kong, one is Karma, and she was a staple in the TNA Knockouts division. And most notably, Jon Moxley made his long-awaited debut at the end of Double or Nothing. I believe that the numbers came out, and I believe that they did 98,000 pay-per-view buys, which is double the amount of All In. Yeah. And to kind of put that in context, WWE's last show that they sold through pay-per-view, Money in the Bank 2014, did 184,000 pay-per-view buys. So, based on the response, did the show deliver, and does this position AEW as the alternative to WWE as advertised?
I'm sorry, you have to repeat that question.
So I was just saying, basically because of the show, and by the way, the show was critically acclaimed. A lot of people loved it. You can catch the replay on Bleacher Report Live as well as anywhere you order pay-per-view. Yeah. But did the show deliver, one? Mm-hmm. And two, does it position AEW as an alternative to WWE, which is what they promoted?
Well, I still haven't watched Double or Nothing.
Okay.
Don't judge me. Please don't attack me. I still haven't watched it because I've been very busy this week. But, I mean, considering some of the clips that I saw and some of the highlights, I mean, I would say that if the general public loved the show, didn't think it was too long, didn't think that there were matches that didn't belong there, didn't think that there were just regular TV matches on there, then yeah, I would say that the pay-per-view did well.
Right.
And that, I agree with your second question, because I forgot that.
Did it position AEW as an alternative?
It did. It did position AEW as an alternative. I feel like what they've done is show
keep going
that like this is what we're gonna do. Like this is who we are. This is the show. And I heard that Double or Nothing is gonna be an annual event.
It may be.
So that's what I saw on an article. So if it's an annual event, I can see them turning Double or Nothing into their WrestleMania.
Right. I mean, I feel like All Out is kind of like All In or All Out now is going to be their WrestleMania kind of ordeal. But if they do Double or Nothing as their WrestleMania type of event, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, it's perfectly placed. It's the beginning of summer. It's right. Memorial Day weekend. It was in a great location.
And who knows? We could get, I know it took years before WWE could run stadiums.
Right.
But, depending on how good their TV is within the next, 5 years, we could have the first Double or Nothing inside of, they own the Jacksonville Jaguars, right?
So So it could be in their stadium.
It can be in the stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. So who knows? I mean, I'm trying to go to Florida.
Yeah, same, because we're trying to see Whitney. Who got?
I know we're gonna see her when we go to
TV. Yeah, very true. But still, again, the more times we can see Whitney, the better. Yeah, I think that when it comes down to Double or Nothing, it definitely delivered. Like, it's kind of interesting because you look at the internet and you look at, not just with WWE, but all different types of wrestling promotions, you see a lot of fans being like, no, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this. I didn't see any of that for AEW, and I think that it kind of proved not only that AEW was an alternative, not only that AEW delivered as far as a show, but when we trust a provider's storytelling abilities, we're not always telling them what to do. Like, we're not, like, to be honest, it's not, wrestling and sports entertainment is not about the fans telling the creators of the show what to do with the show. It's just about good storytelling. And if you tell us a good story, we'll just go along for the ride. It doesn't matter if our favorite is involved or not. It's just, we just want to see good content and a good story and things that make sense. Because Lord have mercy, I'm not going to go into what I was going to say. But
is that coffee?
Mm-hmm.
You drink black coffee?
Yes, I do. It's harsh. But anyway, so going from that, now, as we said earlier, Jon Moxley made his debut at AEW's Double or Nothing, which led to Jon Moxley being featured on Talk Is Jericho.
And basically tearing WWE.
And just wild out. Just said, I'm just going to go 80 and we're just going to do it. And then in the interview, he talked about WWE's creative process as far as the actual shows are concerned. And it actually, to be honest, wasn't really a drag of the whole company. It wasn't really a tear down of the whole company. He did credit them for, having 8 long years of meeting his wife there.
It was more of a drag of Vince McMahon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like,
absolutely. But I mean, and to be completely honest, the reason why this is very interesting is because the podcast itself was number 3 overall on Apple Podcasts, and it was the number 1 sports podcast on Apple Podcasts for the week. And that is a big, big deal. Now, in the interview, he also kind of talked about a couple of other things, such as the promos that he was able to film with Nick Mondo, things like that. But what do you think about the interview, and does it kind of reflect things that we've been kind of suspecting as fans?
Here's the thing. I think that the interview was very insightful. I think that the interview was very interesting.
Yeah.
But I also think that the interview was a bunch of stuff that a lot of us already knew.
Right.
Like I don't want to say like the intricate stuff, like the little burying stuff, but we live in a generation now where the fans are smart.
Very true.
We know certain things that we didn't know even 10 years ago.
Very true.
So now when we get to a situation like this, it's very interesting to see how Dean Ambrose, to see how Jon speaks about it, and then to see how the Dean Ambrose character was treated, from 2016 on. 2016, I have always said that match with Brock Lesnar was probably the beginning of the end of anybody taking Dean Ambrose seriously in the company. Because they basically fed Dean Ambrose to Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar did absolutely nothing in that match. And it was like, that was it, And
on top of that, Dean was forced to kind of like defend himself, even like in the Stone Cold podcast.
Exactly. And that Stone Cold podcast to this day is probably one, I think, that was like the last one on the network, right?
Yeah, that was the last one on the network.
I feel like that one was just, it was just like, okay, we're not doing these anymore. But, getting back to like the Jericho interview, what I thought, a few things stuck out to me. It was the cancer thing, which,
yeah.
We all know that Vince grew up in this business. Vince does have a mind for the pro wrestling business, but there's a lot of things that Vince does that are very dated and very 1995, very 1982. It's 2019. The cancer references, it shouldn't happen.
In general, there's a lot of things in the 80s and the 90s that were referred to and that were talked about that we just should not be circling back to. Like, for example, Ken Shamrock was making fun of Chyna, saying that she looked like a man in 97. Yeah, if you did that now, you're getting dragged. If they did that now,
dragged, are you kidding me?
Canceled, deleted, forever.
And the thing that was very interesting is that Jon Moxley said that there was and I might end up calling him Dean Ambrose in between this, because whatever.
Yeah.
But Jon Moxley said that there was a line that they wanted him to say that could have lost him sponsors. And I'm just like, are you serious? You know, Vince McMahon cares about money. But, you know, and we know this. Like, we know that Vince McMahon's number one motivation is money. But you're willing to put your sponsor, like Susan G. Komen, which, you know, we all have our feelings about Susan G. Komen. But Susan G. Komen is one of their biggest sponsors. They literally dedicate the entire month of October
to them. To breast cancer awareness.
To breast cancer awareness with Susan G. Komen.
Right.
You're telling me that they would have said something that would have got their sponsors revoked.
That's bad.
Sponsorship. Are you kidding me? Like, that's insanity to me.
And that's really bad.
And, you know, one thing that I will say is I said this on the Insta story the day that it came out. And I also, you know, had a little bit of argument. Shout out to Sid from True Heels. We had like a bit of a back and forth. It wasn't like a
argument, yeah.
But we had a bit of a like a little, you know, friendly squabble about the situation. And a lot of people on Instagram and on Twitter, especially Twitter, Sean Ross Sapp was like, his one tweet, apologize to Sasha Banks. I agree with that tweet. Let's all be honest. Sasha Banks has been served BS since July 2016, when she won the title and then they took it off of her a month later, and then she won it back 2 months later. They took it off of her a month later. She won it back 2 months later, and they took it off of her 20 days later. Then she won it back 6 months later and took it off of her 8 days later. She did absolutely nothing in 2018. They gave her the shortest. They gave her a women's title run. Took the titles off of her, told her they were going to do it the day of the show, probably a couple of minutes before they went on. Did the match with the Iconics, and, you know, Ryan Satin and all these people came up with all these sources about how she's crying, and her and Bayley were screaming and crying all over the floor, and then all of a sudden Bayley gets this renewed push, which again, I love Bayley.
And she deserves that, yeah.
She deserves this push, but I can't help but still feel like that push is a big middle finger to Sasha Banks. Let me explain something to everybody. Some people may feel like the situation is not the same. Jon Moxley, obviously, he waited for his contract to be over, to go somewhere else, to say how he felt.
And by the way, Jon is super professional, because he even stated that he didn't want to do anything on the business and that would jeopardize his wife's relationship with the company. And I think that that's just super selfless, because based on how he was treated and what he was reporting, I would have gone blood in the club.
Lost my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I would have, like, the day he said that he was like, he was going to go home and that was just, he was done, I would have just went home. I would have just took my bags and went home. Now, Sasha, on the other hand, did she do it the smartest way? No. Here's the thing. We still don't even know why she left. These are all alleged things. Sasha Banks hasn't said a word.
Absolutely not a word.
She could have just left because she was, you know, she needed some mental health time. Her and Vince McMahon could be talking about her return whatever. You know,
this could all be a work.
This could all be whatever. Whatever it is. It's pro wrestling.
Yeah, we don't know.
But my biggest thing is people are looking at it on the surface. The crux of their stories are the same. They were given the bad end of the stick multiple times over, and they both just went about it two different ways. Dean Ambrose decided to wait his contract on, and plus he had a few months left on his contract. Sasha Banks has 4 years left on her contract. Sasha Banks signed a 5-year deal last year. Now, granted, a couple of people did say that she should have, you know, this stuff has been going on. She shouldn't have signed that contract. She should have just waited. She should have just waited her contract out and left. But, you know, if this is your dream and this is where you want to be and you're promised to get certain things, you're probably going to stay. You know what I'm saying? You're probably not going to make the smartest business decision. Did she go about it the smartest way? No. But the crux of this story is an idiot in the White House. I'm sorry. An idiot in the big brown chair.
Oh, Jesus.
Who doesn't know what he's doing.
The fact that you tied that into. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna make this short and I'm gonna make this part short and sweet, because I think that.
I need to grow up.
Yeah, you do, but it's okay. I think part of what we're getting back to here is just like the creative framework is just outdated. The creative process is not as productive, and in order for this company to thrive the way that it can be, because let me tell you something, WWE has the greatest wrestling roster in the world. I don't care what anybody says. You have a Johnny Gargano, a Adam Cole, a Bobby Fish, a Roderick Strong, a Kyle O'Reilly, a Velveteen Dream, a Tyler Breeze, a Bianca Belair, a Io Shirai, I'm not done, a Shayna Baszler, all in developmental. And I'm just talking about developmental, Bianca Belair. I'm talking developmental, Street Profits, all in the developmental. If that's your developmental brand, and then you go on Raw, you got SmackDown, and you have these rookies and veterans alike who are just amazing in the ring, amazing on the mic, who can do press conferences and appearances and all these other things, and you have an incredible roster, there should be no reason why your rating is below a 3.0. Period. I don't care. But yeah, that's that. Now, going back to All Elite Wrestling.
Before you go back, one more thing about Dean Ambrose, or Jon Moxley.
Jon Moxley, yeah.
You built an entire house show around me.
Yeah, don't give me no damn $500.
You built an entire house. You flew out
Flew out.
Cameramen and production teams.
And commentators.
Big matches and commentators and all this. And you paid him $500. I would have took that check and told Vince McMahon, you can take this check and shove it.
You still want to wrestle in WWE, right? Yeah, don't say that last part.
I do.
So, and that's the reason why I'm going to go to the next part. So, in a post-match interview, Cody Rhodes answered a question from Mark Henry about diversity in AEW, where he disclosed his experiences with his wife, Brandy, and Cody said, that he doesn't see color, and she replied, well, you don't see my experience. And
I love Brandy. I love her.
And Cody talked about the importance of understanding that experience. And the clip actually got the attention of House Rep Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
AOC, my sis.
Where she thanked Cody for his insight. So I think the question, and he even...
Okay,
Alexandria, you feel me?
Okay, Andrade.
And Cody kind of, said that, that they're taking this experience. He took this experience to heart, and that he's using it as a key as far as implementing diversity. And he said that he's not going to make it a PR thing. He's going to make it, just a thing that's the foundation of the company. And, they're going to be marketing these people as wrestlers, nothing more, nothing less, because at the end of the day, it's all about wrestling. So now I think that, and I think the question from this is, does this moment show that AEW is legitimately interested in inclusion beyond the public relations element?
Yes, 100%. I feel like, I love that line from Brandy, like, you don't see my experience. Because, people say this all the time, oh, I don't see color. Yeah, but that means you're not recognizing me for who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm black, and I have a different experience from people who are Caucasian, from people who are Asian, from people who are Latino, from, you know what I'm saying? Like, my skin color determines the way that I get treated in this world. Still in 2019.
Absolutely.
And it's sad, but it is what it is. My skin color determines whether or not I live or die at this point, And for Brandy to say that to Cody, I remember Cody had tweeted something. This is like 3 or 4 years ago. And this is right when he left WWE. So what was that, like 2016?
2016, yeah.
So, and he was like in Ring of Honor and doing all this stuff. And he tweeted something like along the lines of, somebody had said, what would your dad think if he saw that you were dating a black woman? Some racist Twitter asshole. Yeah. And he was like, oh, he would say that you're a go behinder. And I just tweeted him like, dude, he's racist. Like, what the hell is a go behinder? Right. He's racist. But I say all that to say, I really do love Brandy and Cody, like, their relationship. Absolutely. And I really do love the fact that Cody seems genuinely interested in learning about the fact that the experience for black people is a lot different than the experience for someone like him. And Brandy, like, I've loved her since she was Eden Styles. Yes. First of all, okay. I'm that old. Okay. I'm that old. But I just I just really love her spirit. I think that there's something about Brandy that is very much, she's just so funny to me.
She is. Keep going.
There was a picture of, somebody put a picture of, it was Brock Lesnar guy. He put up a picture of him doing the pose with Stephanie and Hunter, and then under it, he cropped in the photo with with Brandy and Cody. And I just think it's so funny because Hunter and Stephanie are like doing the Brock Lesnar thing, right? And Stephanie looks like she's giving like her iconic like look, which I love Stephanie McMahon.
And Brandy just looks so happy.
Brandy looks like she's so happy to be there, and it's so funny because she's just like, and I'm just like, you missed the point, but you look so happy, and I just love it. I love Brandy Rhodes.
Yeah, I think that this was definitely an important moment, specifically because it got the nod from the Notorious AOC. Sidebar, if you haven't done so already, please watch Knock Down the House on Netflix right now. It follows the journey of 4 women who are, going for the house, and I'm not going to give the results, but it's just a really inspiring documentary. It just shows, and I think that when AEW said, like, we're here to change the world, we're here to change the universe, I think that this definitely falls in line, because I don't think that we've seen a wrestler or a wrestling executive from any North American promotion that has publicly stated that they are interested in learning the plight of minorities, of people of color, of oppressed people. And I think that the fact that Cody does not take those experiences lightly and is also not using those experiences as something to kind of put on the front line so it could be a headline is something that I think that is really important, and I think that it's great that he's doing. I'm very, very interested in seeing how they're moving forward. I felt like there was a lot of diversity in the show. Not only was it diversity, not only was it diverse, not only was it inclusive, but it wasn't like diverse to the point where it wasn't like in your face diversity. It wasn't like diversity like we want to show you that we're diverse. It was just like we're including them as wrestlers.
Yeah.
But we're going to let you know
I was about to say something.
that we're going to include people of color and oppressed people into our product, not because we want the headlines, but because it's just important.
Yeah.
And I just loved that. So we have 2 more things to talk about. Because in addition to Jon Moxley being the talk of All Elite Wrestling and being being in the U.S. with that, he also has signed some type of agreement with New Japan Pro Wrestling and will be facing Juice Robinson for the IWGP United States Championship, I think on June 5th. I don't know at which venue, but I just want to know kind of like your reaction to that and the reaction to the promo.
I didn't see the promo. Again, I've barely watched anything this weekend.
Right.
I've been like super busy.
All over the place.
But that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that is the door to maybe New Japan and All Elite Wrestling working
That
with
would
each
be
other.
an amazing partnership. Are you kidding me?
Like them being able to, grab Okada for some of their big shows, and
because that collaboration with Ring of Honor, that ain't it, Chief.
Coda, like imagine, Coda Ibushi getting, like we could do another G1. Well,
I don't want a G1 Supercard.
I don't want a G1 Supercard.
I want a G1 Double or Nothing at Madison Square Garden. I don't need Ring of Honor involved in this anymore.
They could do like it doesn't have to be, I was just saying Supercard just for the purpose of saying G1 Supercard.
Right.
But like we can get like a All Elite Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling version of the G1 Supercard. Like we could get something really well done next year if there's another, like, if they decide to do it, if they decide to go to Tampa, let's say they work it out enough so that they could do it in Tampa.
Man, an AEW New Japan show would be phenomenal.
Yeah, like if they were able to get like another, if they, I don't know if there's another venue like a big arena in Tampa, but maybe even if they're like a 45 minutes away at another arena, like that would be pretty cool.
Or like an amphitheater, even not even like
an amphitheater. Yeah,
it could be like a 7,000, 8,000 seater. Even though we know that they could do more, but like just for the sake of doing a smaller venue, or in case there was like
sold out G1 Supercard.
Yeah, no, they did sell it out.
Well, yeah,
they did sell it out technically.
Yeah,
but I'm excited. Also, the promo was dope.
Okay, I gotta watch it.
So there was a moment in there where Jon Moxley in another interview was talking about how Dusty had this vision for the Dean Ambrose character of him standing outside a bar with a leather jacket.
Oh,
and
I read this.
And in
Yes.
the promo, he was wearing that leather jacket in the bar that Dusty was talking about. So it's definitely a tribute to Dusty Rhodes in there. And so, like, the fact that he was able to get that in there was just great. And the fact that he was able to, the time's up. I think that based off of just like the promo, because apparently they've been running these promos for a while. So I think that Dean Ambrose is going to win this title, which would be dope. And I would love that for him.
That would be very interesting.
Also, Chris Jericho is facing Okada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at the same event. So obviously there are multiple AEW stars that are competing.
I think we're gonna get it.
We're definitely gonna get it.
Next year,
we're calling it. All Elite Wrestling and New Japan are gonna have a partnership, and that's gonna be. And considering that they have a partnership already with AAA, that is gonna be phenomenal.
See, here's the thing, though. How do they plan it out? Because I'm pretty sure in Tampa we're gonna get takeovers are gonna go back to Saturday. Friday's probably gonna be the Hall of Fame again. Where do they I guess they could put it on Friday because.
Yeah, I mean, like they'll figure it out. I mean, like they'll figure it out.
They need to put it on the Friday because I'm going to TakeOver and the All Elite Wrestling show.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. And on top of that, and this is like the last thing, and this is going to be pretty short because I think this is kind of coincidental. So there have been rumors circulating about SmackDown lead writer Road Dogg going to NXT, and he's officially in NXT.
Wait, like writing for NXT?
Writing for NXT. He's in NXT right now. But it's still being a product being produced by Triple H. Please come back. I don't think that there's going to be any creative misstep here, considering what we know about the creative process.
As long as Triple H...
Yeah, Triple H is still overseeing everything. But I think it's interesting because also there were reports of X-Pac being backstage at Double or Nothing, helping out with Billy Gunn. So the fact that Hunter and Road Dogg are NXT, and Billy Gunn and X-Pac are in AEW.
Wow.
It's like DX is low key, and Shawn Michaels is in NXT too.
Right.
So what do you think about DX running the wrestling world?
I mean, I feel like this was. I feel like Triple H's run of terror in 2004. Was that the run of terror? Was that the year?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. So his run of terror in Raw in 2004, where I guess they said he buried everyone, which again I'm still way behind on my Raw rewatches, so leave me alone. But he that was a preface for this,
right?
Like he ran through Raw, and now he's running through the wrestling business with his friends. I'm
here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to keep getting stories like Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, if we're going to get the product that we've been getting with NXT for the past some odd years.
Oh, I thought you said that, and then I thought like they announced them. I was like, wait, Tommaso Ciampa's back?
No. Like, I'm talking about just like storylines. I just feel like the product that Triple H has been able to put out with NXT is literally like the best overall wrestling product when we're taking stories and match quality and we're combining it with just the quality of production.
Bruh.
You can't go wrong with NXT.
This is the 25th takeover.
Absolutely.
Like, if somebody would have told me in 2010 that NXT, stupid game show,
was going to have 25 pay-per-views.
Would have 25 pay-per-views that would all be considered better than the WWE pay-per-view that it either followed, that it prefaced, that it did whatever, and one of the greatest matches in history and an NXT match would be the reason why I'm in the wrestling business. And if you don't know, Banks and Bailey, at Brooklyn, like that's insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool that DX runs the wrestling business.
Hunter is great.
Hunter is amazing. Hunter is just the best. Shout out to Hunter. But anyway, we are going to close this show right now. Thank you guys for listening and watching episode 116 of Culture 316. Be sure to follow us on social media at Culture 316 everywhere. And we'll be back next week. So I'm your host, Jay the Creative.
Captain America.
Angie Lateness. And we'll be back next week. I'm definitely keeping that in there too.